everyone. This is Mikedot, and welcome back to the podcast. Today I'm here with Afromania. How you doing?
I'm doing great, man. And sorry, we've been away for a little bit, about 2 weeks now?
Yeah, very much.
Yeah. Some family things, good things actually, for graduation and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
we were away for a little bit for a couple of weeks for that. So we haven't had a couple of shows. We do apologize for that, but we're back, and we're going to be back on hopefully our normal schedule.
Yeah, like Afro said, we're out of town to visit our cousin and watch her graduate from a pretty prestigious college, which is very nice. But we're here again. We're here to talk about some gaming stuff in the industry. Most recently, the Summer Game Fest has had its presentation, which had a lot of interesting games to showcase, which we want to discuss. There's also the discussion of Tekken and Harada still asking questions regarding the Waffle House and why so many people want to see that become a stage in the game. And we also wanted to talk about Rocksteady and their issue with Suicide Squad and how they may be getting shut down. Which one do you want to start off with?
So let's talk about the Waffle House situation with Harada and stuff like that, because apparently he still doesn't get why Tekken fans want this Waffle House in Tekken for whatever situation, which is, I don't understand it either, though, but it is kind of funny, though, that this is happening. In my opinion.
I mean, it is kind of funny because as most people know, the Waffle House is a notorious place where people, including the wait staff, get into fights.
Hold on, slow down. You make notorious.
I mean, am I wrong? Tell me when I'm telling lies, man.
What are you trying? Like, you trying to make it like sounds like the ghetto version of IHOP?
I mean, I'm not saying it. It's like, look, I have never pointed out the race of the people who typically get.
I didn't even say race. I just said it's the ghetto version of IHOP.
Yeah. You were the one who brought that up.
I didn't say shit. I just said ghetto version of IHOP, like Waffle House. You made it. You said it was like notorious. Like, this stuff happens a lot. Well,
because it does.
At the moment, it has been happening, but
not at the moment.
It's not the point. Like, okay, so honestly, it's not the point. Though. However, Harada has been very interested in American culture about this phenomenon that is called Waffle House, which is like weird, in the whole situation.
I mean, it is, but like I said, like it's
where in the wall, like. Waffle House is, look, it's more down south, right?
I'm not too sure, to be honest. I mean, I could look it up.
Yeah, type that in. Like, I know up north and we like a IHOP.
I mean, I assume I assume it's like, a bit more like
down south, right?
I believe so.
It has to be down south. Anyway, not the point. The folk, but again. Well, so why has this been a very interesting story for Mr. Harada from Mr. Tekken creator and producer?
But yeah, the whole situation with it is like as mentioned, it's a place where people for some reason get into a lot of fights, including the wait staff that loves to get into like a lot of fights with like the customers. Usually, and the thing is, you gotta notice about this is that usually it happens at night, and a lot of these Waffle Houses, a lot of them are actually 24 hours. So a lot of people
that's why they made the mistake.
Yeah, because a lot of people who go to these places are usually like coming in like
pretty
drunk.
Yeah.
Or sometimes even drugged up. and they're just like trying to like order food, and they're giving the wait staff like trouble
all the time.
It's just like, and people just like just get frustrated and start throwing hands. It's just like when they're trying to serve you food. I don't know why any customer would mess with the wait staff when they're like working on your food. I mean, getting punched in the face is the least thing I would be worried about. I would be worried about someone like spitting in my food at that point over like getting punched in the face.
I can see that. I can totally see that though, but I just don't understand people's fascination of wanting the Waffle House in Tekken 8 in the first place. I think it's more of a ongoing joke that I think they wanted to pass on to Harada. And I think Harada just doesn't understand the joke. It's just a goofy meme that fans are just trying to put on him about the whole situation right now. I think it's hilarious. Don't get me wrong. I think it's funny, and I think for just the fans to see if it's even possible, I think that's what they're trying though. But I think for Harada to understand that whole situation is like, wait, why do people do this? Like, what's the point? What's the whole point? And
again, it's mostly just because of a running joke within the fighting game community.
Yeah,
you see so many memes about like Street Fighter characters and KOF characters going into the Waffle House and then questioning like, is this really the place? And like, yes, Kyo, this is where the strongest fighters in the world will gather. You must train. You must prepare yourself for the contestants within. One contestant in specific that you must challenge is Waffle House Wendy. If she is the most powerful of the fighters, as what she lacks in strength, she makes up in pure defense. You will not be able to touch her.
And tenacity and endurance.
But that's another thing. It's just one of the biggest like memes within the Waffle House is Waffle House Wendy. What?
No, finish up.
Like, if for those that don't know, in fact, this is something I only found out like several weeks ago, and this is a meme that has been for like over a year. The Waffle House Wendy is one of the wait staff who actually caught a chair in midair, blocked it, and then just like and reversed it and hold it in her hand like a parry in third strike. It was super impressive. I'll have to show you that later. It's super impressive. There's so many memes about it, so much artwork
we make the Waffle House sound like it's like the Kumite of death or something.
It basically is
the Kumite of 24 hours.
It basically is
dining experiences.
So many people have made jokes about it, like you get seated over here. That's where all the grapplers are. The Muay Thai players get seated over there. And if you're really good at different sides, the MMA side is over there.
No. And then what you really get are those spacer motherfuckers in those fighting games that just spam a lot and just space you throughout the rest of the time.
You get the Shotos? So basically you have to deal with the Shotos.
That's pretty much it. Those are the ones that start all the fights and stuff. Who do you think out of all like fighting game characters would start shit at a Waffle House?
Probably like a street brawler,
like Brian Fury,
Brian Fury, exactly. Brian Fury, 100%.
Would just come in there and punch some stuff. I could totally see a Brian Fury.
I'm not sure who else that would fit that bill. I mean, other chaotic characters. I mean, Birdie. Yeah, I think maybe Birdie from Street Fighter Alpha.
I could see him causing problems.
Yeah,
maybe a Zangief. No, I think Zangief. Zangief is way too nice.
Yeah, Zangief is actually nicer than he is. Yeah, he looks. Nakali from Street Fighter 5, maybe. Nobody remembers Nakali. Nobody cares about that guy.
Yeah, that cares for shit.
But
Nobody knows that.
But overall, most people really just want to.
I could see Jury starting some shit.
Yeah, absolutely. Jury would start shit.
You would totally get into it with the staff.
Exactly. She would just like be like, hopping over and just like kicking people in the face and just like
she could be a totally asshole. I could definitely see that happening.
Yeah,
pretty much.
But overall, Harada is still confused about why we want this stage, and it's not even just because of the fighting, because I actually went down a massive rabbit hole when it comes to the Waffle House, because
why?
I just got curious after the whole Waffle House Wendy thing. I found out that these Waffle House stores are actually used as a test for tornado assessment. I'm not even kidding. Yes, there is a little thing called the Waffle House Index where they actually assess tornado damage, or hurricane damage or tornado. I think hurricane damage. Yeah, I need to correct myself. Yes, this is an actual thing. Look it up, Waffle House Index. This is because here's the thing. I think the most of the stores run on gas and not electricity. So even if the electricity goes out, the place will still be open. Yeah, I know Afro has a confused look on his face right now, like was wondering what the fuck are you talking about?
Why does continue.
Yeah, basically like local governments use it as an assessment for weather damage, and basically if the place is open, if it's a green, that means the place is open. If it's a yellow, it means that there's a malfunction, but it'll be up in a few hours. If it's a red, it basically means the Waffle House has been destroyed. Yeah. So,
that's a whole bunch of reds that's late, because these places are always getting destroyed.
If it's destroyed, no. I'm not talking about this. No, listen. It needs to be destroyed. What I mean, destroyed.
Michael, this is a weird lore for Waffle House. I'm just letting you know that right off the bat.
And I know it's weird, and I'm explaining to you what I mean by it's destroyed. I mean it's literally gone.
No, I understand what destroyed means. I'm just trying to understand, why are we giving me this weird lore for Waffle House right now?
Because it gives more credence to why people want it as a state. It's a sacred place, apparently. Like, how many restaurants are used as an assessment for weather damage?
That's not the point. It's a bunch of motherfuckers that beat people up like 24/7 because they're drunk.
Well, again, shit. I'm just saying that the Waffle House, there's more to it than just people bare knuckle fighting.
I feel like it has nothing to do with the topic.
Listen.
Oh god.
To make the Waffle House a more interesting stage, you know how Tekken 7 and 8 have the stage transitions?
Yes.
They could transition during like the second phase of the stage, that there's a tornado or hurricane ripping through the town, and now you have to fight with a massive hurricane in the background.
Of a Waffle House?
Yes.
Wait a minute. Okay, so you gave me this whole long ass lore of Waffle House safety for that?
Yes.
Oh my god. Move on to the next topic.
All right, so switching topics here, we wanted to switch over to Rocksteady and Suicide Squad, because there's a rumor that Rocksteady might either be getting the boot, or they might be downsized in order to work on lesser projects due to the financial flop that is Suicide Squad.
Colossal.
Because there was a recent financial call for Warner Bros. Discovery that Suicide Squad lost like $2 million, I believe.
I thought it was more than that. I thought it was 200 million.
I think I'm sorry.
More than that.
Not 2 million. I know why I said 2 million. 200 million. I'm sorry.
2 million would be like, oh yeah, wasn't that?
Yeah,
bad?
If it lost 2 million, that would be a drop. That would be a drop in the bucket.
This was bad.
2 million.
This is colossally bad.
200 million correctly, but
especially for a game too that was delayed for a couple of years. I'm pretty sure, right? It was announced 5 years ago.
Yeah, it was like a long time ago. Yeah,
don't quote me on that. But yeah, this game has been a project for a long time, since actually them ending Arkham the last Arkham game that was made under their, under the
yeah, very much so. It was,
the popular Arkham City games.
I mean, it's the Arkhamverse, quote unquote.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just the game just wasn't very good as a live service game, because like Rocksteady is known for like deep story narratives and tight melee combat, and then you switch to a live service game that's meant to be played endlessly, and you switch it to a gunplay focused looter shooter. So you have characters that really don't play the way they should be playing. Like you have like Captain Boomerang shooting guns instead of using his boomerang. And that's aside from all the like story changes that a lot of people did not like vibe with. They did not agree with the story that they wanted to tell with the Suicide Squad and how they treated all the superheroes. Except Wonder Woman. Apparently, Wonder Woman was the only one who was spared a humiliation. But overall, a lot of people just didn't enjoy the game, and like the sales and the player count reflects that.
Yeah. Again, I'm always not against I guess a different style of playing the games. Again, I know that Rocksteady was known for this style of game, and again, I was never against them switching over to a different story point, because like again, it to me it's okay for them to kind of expand on a little bit into the Arkham universe. Like you can't, you have an adventure game, or maybe you can have a shooting game if it makes sense, right? If it makes sense based on the characters that are involved. I get it. Certain characters didn't work for it, like you just illustrated, and then there were some certain characters that could have worked, like Harley Quinn could have made sense, versus other, and Deadshot world versus other characters like King Shark. Like why is King Shark in there, or like you said, Captain Boomerang in a situation like that. But I think it comes down to one of these issues where I think Rocksteady may have been forced. I don't know. We're gonna find out more of the story. Maybe that Warner Brothers, again, because we've been hearing a lot about how Warner Brothers really wants to change their strategy in going into the live game space. And I think while in the building process, maybe like Suicide Squad was not supposed to be this kind of game. I think Warner Brothers probably came in and shoved that into their faces and be like, hey, we need some form of live service being shoved into this game, even though maybe the team was like, the team was handcuffed, like they probably couldn't do anything about it.
Yeah, that's more or less probably what happened when they were working on this game, because I believe this game was in development for quite some time, and that it was in development for a while because a lot of studio heads, people who were originally a part of Rocksteady from the very beginning, quit the company halfway through the game's development. And it's most likely due to a lot of the changes. I believe a lot of people have reported on that already. I have to look into that, but yeah,
it sounds like it. Like you said, the game has been in development for such a long time, and so many executive heads coming in there and putting their cookie in the creative process. Again, we're speculating, and like you said, there probably are articles written about that, but like you said, maybe a lot of reasons why those top long time developers left because of those changes, which feels like it's typical and happening in any AAA studio game that's happening at the moment.
Yeah, very much so. I mean, it's a shame, but then again, it's kind of expected at this point with like so many companies trying to push for that endless cash cow, which is just not going to work.
Yeah,
it's like there's only so many like endlessly playable games that people want to focus their time and energy on. But yeah, because of these changes, it's also not just a rumor that Rocksteady might either be closed or they might actually be like downsized to work on lesser projects, because there's also a report that they might be working with Avalanche Studios or Warner Brothers to work on a Hogwarts Legacy director's cut. considering how successful Hogwarts Legacy was, since it made like 22 million sales, which is impressive for a single player game with no microtransactions. Making a follow-up to that, it only makes sense. And
which is very ironic.
Yeah, how so?
Because of how Warner Brothers has been trying to push for live service.
Yeah.
And then here's the game that all of a sudden doesn't have any of those transactions, and it's actually done well because it's actually crafted to the fans and the gameplay. What a shock.
Yeah. I mean, from what I heard, Hogwarts Legacy was just actually an okay game. It's definitely not a game that's like super like innovative or groundbreaking, but the thing is, when you have the bar for like for a lot of AAA games is so low, when you have a game like that just does what it can to just cater to fans as much as it can, it's obviously it's good enough for most people. And I think that just goes to show you that you really just need to just give people what they really want instead of what they think they want.
Yeah, which I think which was the whole point of why Hogwarts did well as it did. It gave you that experience of being a part of the Harry Potter legacy and doing, to be able to experience and walk around based off the books and the movies that were had. That's what people want. People want to be immersed in the world. Like it falls no different than like Star Wars fans that want to be immersed in Star Wars games and stuff like that. It's in that same boat. So, yeah, and it did well for Warner Brothers.
Yeah, and I'm glad it did.
100%.
Still, it's sad for Rocksteady, and they have to deal with this stuff. But
yeah.
I mean,
no, it's to me it's a total shame because they worked so hard to build in their reputation, because they started off as a Game Boy company, like a small Game Boy company, right? I think back in the day, and then they evolved into making this incredible game in Arkham Asylum, which took everybody from storm, and also put faith into superhero video games in a long time. And then it got followed up by two of their other games, Arkham City and then Arkham Knight, which ended up, we don't really count the third Arkham game. I forgot the other third Arkham game. It was not made by Rocksteady. It was made by WB's and Montreal. I forgot the third game. I had Deathstroke in it.
Yeah, it is a shame, but you will also have to accept the fact that a lot of people who made Rocksteady what it is are no longer with the company.
Yeah, that happens all the time, though. I totally understand that. But even through that moment, even through their time of those games, those games were still great. Like, you could tell that a couple of people have moved on afterwards. It was still great. It's just now with the changing of the times and everybody trying to chase the almighty dollar and trying to squeeze every little drop they bleeping can. They're trying to shoehorn things that should not be in certain games at the moment, and it's really starting to take away the greatness of a lot of games. Blizzard, Overwatch. So
well, obviously, just shoehorning live service, and also giving a story that basically kind of disrespects the legacy.
You know what? We need to have a real deep dive conversation about Overwatch. Like just talk about it.
I guess so.
We really have.
It's a game that I haven't thought about in years.
I know, but I feel like we have to have a talk about that one of these days.
Okay, well, maybe so. All right. Anyway, I guess moving on to the last thing. Well, the Summer Games Fest has come and gone when it comes to its massive live presentation. There were actually quite a few games that got revealed that caught my eye, but I guess I would want to know what games caught your eye.
Quidditch.
Harry Potter
Quidditch. Funny enough, I don't give a shit. I don't have any embargo on this. I got I got invited to an alpha.
Yeah, I did too. I didn't feel like downloading it for some reason.
I thought it was great. And it was fun for what it offered to me. I thought there was some fun moments. It needed a little bit of tweaking though. I'm not gonna lie though at certain moments though. But again, this is a cool live service game that makes sense. You know, like building your teams, building your fractions and stuff like that. That I'm going to be willing into it, depending on how much they screw us in live service. So that I thought was pretty interesting. Another interesting game too that I'm actually, before I get into more games, I think like the overall show itself, I think it's just nice to know that it's nice to go to like one of these shows and know that these games are coming out tomorrow versus, oh, we're in development for the next 4 or 5 years. You're not, hey, here's a cool trailer and you're not gonna see this game for another decade. Like a lot of these games that have been announced are either come out like today as speaking, or will be coming out in the next couple of months. So that's kind of comforting to know that these games are right around the corner. Like I thought that was quite really, really nice to kind of know about that.
Yeah, I do agree. One particular game that I'm looking forward to that's coming out next month is The First Descendant, which is...
I was just about to say that.
Yeah, The First Descendant is basically a co-op looter shooter in the style of Warframe, where I would say actually a little bit more closer to Destiny than Warframe. Maybe a mix of both, because you do like collect and build like different characters like in Warframe, but you also collect loot and different guns with different rarities like in Destiny. So it's a mix of both different like games. But I did play it in a couple of like closed beta tests and one open beta test, and it was pretty fun. I mean, the shooting felt solid. I didn't do any co-op, mostly played solo, but what I did play, it was pretty cool. You had different bosses, different enemies, different objectives when you're running around the map, and seeing other people running around the map while playing solo was pretty cool. So yeah, it's a very like fun like shooting experience. I definitely would love to play it with friends.
You know what the game gave me vibes up, and please remember, I don't know, I can't even think of the name off the top of my name, but it's the game that we've been talking about. You know, the game with the woman, the hot chick.
Stellar Blade?
Yeah, it kind of gave me Stellar Blade vibes in terms of this aesthetic.
Well, it is Korean, and Korean love their beauty. They're like, high fantasy or high sci-fi.
Makes sense. That makes sense.
They do like a very attractive, aesthetically pleasing like characters and visuals. So yeah, I could see the resemblance.
Yeah. So I kind of feel like, oh, Soul Blade, but multiplayer in that realm. That was cool. Another game that kind of made its weird announcement. I don't know that threw you off. Black Myth Wukong just comes out of nowhere. Hey, that game's coming out in August.
I mean, it was announced a while ago that it was coming out in August.
Oh,
but
really?
This was their final reveal trailer to show off that the game is going to have like collector's edition, digital deluxe editions, where these days I'm not crazy about like collectors or digital deluxe stuff, but the game does look pretty cool. Basically,
I feel like it's
basically
its prime, dude. I feel like this game's been such a development.
I don't think so. It looks great. The thing is, I think that what I will say is I feel like the quality has gone down a little bit from its initial trailer, but it still looks like a fun game, basically Dark Souls but with Wukong. And
that's a little hard because listen, I think it's great that you get a more Dark Soul like games though, but then you think about the other game that was announced, the last game that was announced in Summer Game Fest, and it's like in that same weird breath.
What other game?
It's the last game that got announced. I forgot the name of the game. It was the last game.
You mean Phantom Blade?
Yeah, Phantom Blade. Like in that same breath, because like Phantom Blade is also kind of like a Dark Souls.
Phantom Blade Zero. Yeah.
In the same realm.
It's very similar. Yeah,
but it feels like a lot more faster of a game. though.
Well, it's also different themes. Like, it's not just the combat; it's also the theming that gets people interested.
I get it. Yeah, I know, but still, I mean, I feel like they fall in the same realm. Like, that game looks a lot more faster than from the other trailers of Black Myth Wukong.
Well, I'm not really all that interested in Phantom Blade compared to Black Myth Wukong, because I'm more interested in the storytelling aspect of Wukong, because the team at Game Science want to make this the most lore accurate telling of Wukong as they can. They wanted to make sure they had all of his transformations in the game. They wanted to clear up some misconceptions about the two monkeys, because in like the first trailer there was like another monkey that looked like Wukong, and everyone was wondering, wait, there's two Wukongs? Apparently in lore there is two Monkey Kings, and the story is going to like make sure that it's telling it as closely to Chinese lore as possible. So I'm very interested in that. But with other games that were announced, Mecha Break is announced that it's going to have a closed beta this August, which is a pretty cool mecha action team-based game.
It's kind of like the Gundam-ish game, right?
Very Gundam-like-esque. But from what I've seen, the gameplay is closer to Zone of the Enders, or I guess what was that other game? Virtual On? It was either like Virtual On or Zone of the Enders. I think the gameplay looks closer than that than, say, a game like Armored Core. Definitely a lot more fast-paced than Armored Core 6 or that nature. Another game that also got announced that I'm actually looking forward to is, actually not announced, but Monster Hunter Wilds had another revealed trailer showing that the gamonplay.
Boo!
Why boo? It's Monster Hunter, man. Everybody loves Monster Hunter.
I've never played Monster Hunter.
Yeah,
I don't know.
But the thing is, they confirmed that the game will have crossplay, which is great.
Cool.
Crossplay between PC and consoles, and they basically quietly revealed what the flagship monster is, which kind of looks like a mix between like Zenogre and Gormagala. It looked very unique, but I am excited for that game just because again, it's a direct sequel to Monster Hunter World and not a sequel to Monster Hunter Rise. And I mean, I enjoyed Monster Hunter Rise for a small time, but the gameplay in that felt like one step forward and two step back, while Monster Hunter World and Monster Hunter World Iceborne felt like an actual evolution of the Monster Hunter formula, and the gameplay was just so solid and so like just amazing. So I'm glad that they're pushing forward with that kind of gameplay.
You know what game that I enjoyed, and I forgot the name of the game. I'm terrible. Like I've not done my research. I apologize, guys. But there was one game that I actually enjoyed. The Bean game.
Bean game.
Yes.
I don't know.
You don't remember it? It kind of was like game. It was like Max Payne. It had the slow mo of the Max Payne.
Killer Bean.
That honestly, that looks good.
Yes.
That looks incredibly good for what that looks like.
Yes.
That looks amazing.
Killer Bean it's a cult. It started out as like a cult, a movie with a cult following. Just, and it also had like a mini series on YouTube, I believe. But yeah,
okay.
The story about that series, The Killer Bean, is kind of interesting, considering that, as mentioned during the live showcase, the person who made it worked on animation for The Matrix Reloaded, and when he decided to start this new venture and started creating a series and a movie, he went through so much financial turmoil just to get that project across the finish line. He took out loans, he maxed out credit cards, he did everything he could to try and finish that as a passion project. And he didn't expect to really for the thing to really like gain such a huge following, but it really like took off when YouTubers like Moist Critical showcased it on his YouTube channel.
Oh, that's awesome,
that
man. That's
basically
great.
Pushed the series to like new heights, and just
awesome,
gave it such a huge following to the point where it had a YouTube series. And in fact, Moist Critical actually is featured as a guest star on one of the episodes.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, and then so far he's been working on this game by himself, and it's very much a over the top action shooter like Max Payne.
Yeah, I was really impressed by that in terms of the design and even the gameplay designs of the different enemies that are going to be happening to it. Like I thought this is like what? This game kind of slaps a little bit. Like it looks pretty good.
It's like in the story is incredibly stupid, but it is like stupid in the best sense.
But yeah, I love. Oh yeah, you need to have those stupid moments.
Sometimes you don't. Sometimes
you can't take yourself seriously.
Exactly. It's like I say stupid in the best way possible. But yeah, the game looks awesome. Definitely going to.
It's been early access.
It's going to go into early access soon.
Yeah,
I'm looking forward to that.
No, I thought that's amazing, dude. Yeah, that game got me hyped. As strange as like for a game that looked like that game really got me hyped.
And then another thing that got announced is a new update to Pal World. Their first big update is coming soon. I can even say Sakurajima update. There's going to be new pals, new buildings, new bosses, and just
a new raid.
Yeah, basically a new raid. It's just like just the biggest update yet, just because people have been asking for content for that game for like months now, ever since it released back in January. And yeah, it's a game that's still going strong. Sure, it doesn't have like 1 million people playing it anymore because the game has a finite amount of content. Once everyone got through that content, obviously there's like not much reason to play, but I'm pretty sure this content will bring a fair amount of people back. Just to say a little bit, but I'm actually in like the closed beta for the update, and
of course you are.
It is a pretty cool stuff. I can't say more than that, but yeah, it's definitely, there's a lot to look forward to, man, when it comes to this update.
You know, another interesting game too that I think that's going to be fantastic too. I'm happy about that. Another interesting game that just got announced, which was a weird commercial, was M Corp. Apparently was Skate.
Yeah.
That was weird.
It's basically like a corporation within Skate 4.
Yeah.
That's basically just like, I guess it's supposed to add to some kind of like story about them like ruining the town, and then the skaters got to rise up against M Corp or something like that.
Strange.
Yeah.
That was overall, it was just a strange commercial a strange way to introduce Skate.
Yeah, it was like it's like something out of The Office, like an Office skit.
Yeah.
I mean, some people found it funny. I kind of found it funny.
I just found it weird.
But yeah, it was a weird way.
Where were they going with it until it was like, wait, that Skate?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
I thought it was a really interesting, very interesting way of introducing Skate through that. But I mean, those were the games that really caught my eye. Like any other games that you were like, oh yeah, you know, it's pretty cool.
Mighty Morphin Power Rangers.
Yes, that looked dope.
That looked super impressive. It has that, like, you know, like retro looks,
just like the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Shredder's Revenge.
Yeah,
I'm really shocked that we've not gotten a team beating up co-op in the 90s. You would think that would make sense, right? You think Konami would have been all over that?
Yeah, I mean, we've had like beat 'em ups for the game, like in the NES. Like there was some,
but not like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles beat 'em up.
Yeah, but not like 4-player. No, like there's like usually like 1-player, 2-player, but not like 4-player like in this game. In fact, isn't it like all 5 players can be? I believe so.
Yes, it's all 5 players.
Yeah, so you can have like everyone can play it.
But Shredder's Revenge had what, 6?
Yeah, Shredder's Revenge had 6.
See, I was wondering why they missed the boat on that, because you're missing the Green Ranger.
Maybe he's an unlockable.
But not as a 6-player. Like not all 6-player co-op.
Oh, well, true.
Like that's, I feel like a big missed opportunity to include all the Rangers though. But no, from what they were showing, it looked like it feels like they kind of took that formula of TMNT Shredder's Revenge and really upped it, because it's more than just beat 'em up. mechanics in there too.
You got shooting.
You had shooting. You were flying there was a lot more happening in that.
Yeah, there was on rail. There was like an all rails bike, like a bike section. You also had first person fighting in the Megazord.
Yeah, there was a lot going on in that trailer, man. No, that was really, really impressed. I'm looking forward to that when that gets beat up. Mighty Morphin Power Rangers Rewind. It got announced. Weird thing, Blumhouse Games is starting to review going into the indie horror game category. What's your weird thought about that?
I mean, to be perfectly honest, I wasn't too focused on that. I'm not a big horror game person, so
I thought it was kind of weird because it's I feel like that's I get Blumhouse stuff in terms of movies have been really good. Like Get Up, Up and Get Out and all these other stuff. But for them to kind of head into a territory where the indie, where the independent scene in terms of video games has been really, really strong. I'm very curious to see what Blumhouse is going to offer in terms of a quote unquote platform. It's hey, you can come on and work with our team and we'll just slap our name on your project.
Obviously,
in a very strong independent space of horror games.
Yeah, I mean, definitely could be a very good thing for independents, if they want to, get into the horror space and just promote their game through their label. Could be good, but again, I'm not a horror game guy, so I don't really have that much of an opinion.
I guess. I mean, maybe. I guess working on that, like you said, that independent game, like you said, being a part of the Blumhouse label may push a game well, but again, I feel like when it comes to independent games, horror games have done pretty well by themselves, mostly through game reactors and gameplays and stuff like that. That's usually where they get a lot of let's think Five Nights at Freddy's. Think about that. Five Nights at Freddy's really got its cult big following through a lot of reactors right now.
Yeah,
which
of course,
ironically, Blumhouse made a movie on Five Nights at Freddy's, which is again. So it's weird. I don't know how much having the Blumhouse label really is going to help in that. I was just I don't know if independent games really need that, but it's there, I guess.
Yeah, I don't think it's obviously going to sell games just having the label alone, but it's something. It's just something to give independents a chance to really get their product out there. So that's all that really matters. It's good on them.
Yeah.
But another thing that really interested in is the finals is going into season 3. Now this is a game that I've been playing for quite some time. You've probably seen a few gameplay videos in the background of these podcasts, but it's a really cool first-person shooter that's all about destruction. Now, unfortunately, the game apparently hasn't been doing so well in terms of player numbers. It's kind of fallen off, but I do hope that this new season will bring some people back because they're actually bringing contestants to Japan, and this is something that a lot of people have been wanting since the game was first revealed. It was a Japan stage, but the thing is, they're not going to modern day Japan like Tokyo or something like that. They're actually going back to ancient day Japan, in the 1533 Kyoto ancient Japan. So you got samurais and ninjas and stuff like that, and they have the update is basically tailored towards that. You have a spear weapon for the heavy class. You have dual katanas for the medium. You basically have all these ninja weapons and ninja moves that you can perform this time around. It's going to be very crazy seeing all this stuff getting used in live matches going forward. They also announced that they are changing the ranked mode from the regular cash out mode to terminal attack, which is basically just a Counter-Strike style mode where you have to attack and defend a bomb, or rather a bomb, a terminal. You have to defend that. And that has actually created a little bit of controversy because a lot of people think that this change in ranked play is kind of going against the game's like identity, which is supposed to be about all this crazy destruction. And terminal attack, there isn't really a lot of destruction to do because you're focused on one objective and you only have one life. There's no respawns between rounds. So yeah, a lot of people are a little bit upset. Like okay, well, maybe I won't say a lot of people, but a fair amount of people are upset that the game might be losing a bit of its identity for something that's more generic and safe when it comes to like competitive games. But overall, I am looking forward to this new season because it does look like a lot of fun. And I guess the other last games I would like to briefly touch upon that both of us are into is Street Fighter 6 having its next season, where they're introducing Terry Bogard and Mai Shiranui to the game. Yeah, I mean, it's kind of crazy that they decided to introduce like SNK characters to their main roster of the game, and it just gives me some suspicions of what they might do next.
Well, with that too, and let's not forget about M. Bison coming back in Elena. Elena, a character that was from Street Fighter 3. I think also about Street Fighter 4 as well.
Yes,
making her return back in big old M. Bison, which is going to drop this summer. Now, unfortunately, to just kind of clear up that announcement, it was weird. It felt like it was a bit of a weird announcement how they had like Elena for fall. It was a switch around. It should have been May. May's coming out spring, right?
I'm not too sure.
And then fall. It was a weird mix up on the setup though. But it's M. Bison that's dropping this summer. Terry Bogard drops fall, and then May drops spring, and then I think no, May drops winter, and then Elena drops spring. I think that was the switch up. That was the weird switch up. Either way, again, this is not like the first time that Capcom and SNK have been working together past the console days, you know. So they've been mostly on the mobile section of things and even on their handheld section.
Yeah,
so
there was like
they've been really big in that relationship for a very long time.
I do remember that the KOF All-Star like mobile fighting game.
Yeah.
It was like a part beat 'em up, part fighting game, and they had a lot of crossovers with Street Fighter in that game.
Yep.
And they also had a crossover with Guilty Gear Xrd, which was kind of weird.
They've had a lot of weird crossovers. I think even with KOF had a couple of and then they went back to KOF for a little bit on SNK's territory with Street Fighter and, like you said, Guilty Gear, and I think even WWE to a certain point.
Yeah, there was WWE characters in that KOF All Stars game.
So there has been a lot of crossing over for a little bit. For a very long time. I think the relationship has been strong. But with this announcement, also, this is kind of the first two characters to ever cross over to Street Fighter. This is their first time doing this ever. They've never had a guest character up to this point.
Yeah, I mean, they've had a crossover games, but that's a whole separate deal. This is the first time they've ever had their characters in their game.
Correct.
And then rather than being like a quote unquote joint effort, unless you want to count the Capcom versus SNK games, because those are games that were mostly developed by Capcom, and then SNK had their permission, their license to have their characters in. It was
supposed to be a 50-50 split, but that at the end of the day, it didn't. Like you said, Capcom, it benefited more than Capcom than it did SNK around that time.
Because then there was also the other part of the deal was the other game that was made by SNK but featured Capcom characters, which is SCV Chaos, which unfortunately did not sell as well as Capcom versus SNK.
It did not.
Yeah, it is unfortunately. I mean, I wouldn't mind them trying something like that again, but I would, at this point, I would very much just like to see a Capcom vs SNK 3.
Listen, this could open up the doors again, man, in the world of fighting games, to know that this is a possibility. The fact that if this relationship is good. Also, I think you also have to remember that I think the different there's new leadership on both ends of both Capcom and SNK.
Yeah.
So I think back in the day, this probably would never been the case. It maybe would have been financially feasible to make another Capcom versus SNK 3. But now I think with the new leadership, and now if this is happening, maybe they said, hey, if this season 2 DLC kicks off and people are liking Terry Bogard in this setting, in this setting, yeah, maybe we bring Kyo. Maybe we actually sit down back onto the table and bring an SNK, bring a Capcom SNK 3 back from the grave. And I think that would that would freak people out. I think that would bring people back from the grave into fighting games. I don't ever pretty much for this, man.
I wouldn't even really say that it's like back something
not
from
the grave. I know. Like, I don't even know why I even said that. Yeah, I'm just saying some bullshit. But no, I'm saying I think it would bring some big interest right now, because like unfortunately what comes with fighting games, they come in and out on, they'll come in and out. So to be able to squeeze another game like this, and we even talked about how Street Fighter should do more crossovers right now. I think the time is hot for more of that right now, and to really kind of just get people interested in more fighting games moving forward.
Very much so. And there's also was like the talk that if they're willing to do this and put Terry in Street Fighter, there's a possibility they could put Ken in the upcoming Fatal Fury City of the Wolves game.
It's a very possibility. That's a big possibility. And I feel like if that happens, then I feel like, maybe that conversation is really starting to heat up. Maybe we can hear something. I wouldn't say this Evo would be way too early for that, but maybe 2 or 3 years down the road, once Street Fighter 6 kind of has tapered off, and then Garo, I keep it called Garo. I think Garo is such a cooler name, but I like the Fatal Fury name. Fatal Fury slowly starts to slow down. I think maybe it would be a great time for both of them to collab, and then we hear that big announcement of Capcom versus SNK 3 down the road.
Yeah, that would be great. I would absolutely be open to that. It's because Capcom versus SNK 2 is one of my favorite fighting games of all time.
Oh, so, yeah. And you also have to remember, for a lot of Street Fighter fans, this was their first kind of weird introduction to the SNK, to the KOF side of things. Like, a lot of players have not seen those characters in a very long time. So I like that, where people can cross over and stuff like that. I think that's an amazing job.
Yeah, well, anyway, that's all we want to talk about for this episode. So what did you think about the topics discussed here today? What do you think about Rocksteady and their potential disbanding, the potential closing of that company? What do you think about Harada and his confusion regarding the Waffle House? And what do you think about all the games that were announced at the Summer Games Fest? Let us know in the comment section. But anyway, if you really enjoyed this, please rate, comment, and subscribe. I'm Mikedot with Afromania, and we are saying peace.
Take care.